Welcome to the StopStutter podcast, where ex-stutterers share their personal journeys from struggle to confidence. Each episode, we hear real stories of life with a stutter and how the neuroscience method helped them find their voice for good.
Welcome to the StopStutter podcast, the show where we share real stories of transformation from people who have overcome stuttering using a neuroscience-based approach. I'm your host, Steve, and this podcast is all about hope, possibility, and what life can look like on the other side of stuttering. Today's guest is someone who went through the program, did the work, and experienced real change. We're going to talk about their life before, what shifted in their brain and mindset, what life looks like now as someone living fluently. And folks who are listening at home and you're struggling, this is the episode for you. So with me now, for the first time today, is my good friend, Amauris. Say hello, sir.
Greetings, everyone. Hello, Sensei Steve. Happy to be here.
Nice. Yes, nice to see you for the first time today.
Deja vu,
very
right?
cool. Yeah, deja vu. It's not like we're re-recording a podcast that I forgot to record, but it's all good. So, Amauris, tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are, what you do, what your life looks like today, things like that.
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. My name is Amauris Hernandez. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Bergenfield, New Jersey. I've been a part of WSSA now for almost 2 years. And I work in finance as a construction invoice factoring underwriter. To take you guys back on my life growing up with a stutter, I was very fortunate to grow up absolutely blessed. I've always had a loving family, a happy home, strong relationships in school and in sports. I've always been a kind and popular athlete. Thankfully, I was never bullied beyond a joke made towards me here and there. Everything was great. Almost no one ever gave a damn about my stutter except for me. So tragically, I was only ever the victim of my own mental nonsense. My self-image sucked growing up, only when it came to speaking. And what I hated most was feeling that there was nothing I could do about my stutter. I could always study hard. Excuse me. I could always study hard to improve academically. I could train hard to improve athletically, but no speech therapist who I ever met with could guide me towards what I could do to improve vocally or improve my speech in any way. I simply had to accept my stutter. And speaking of speech therapists, each one of them who I sat with would give me this little sheet of paper, right? If you're able to see, this is an image of the stuttering iceberg, where above water is the tip of the iceberg, which demonstrates the stuttering itself. Beneath the water, the lower half of the iceberg, lies the fear, the shame, and the anxiety that contributes to producing and exacerbating stuttering as a whole. Coach Steve, ask me how many times a speech therapist offered me a solution or a game plan to help me combat the shame and fear and anxiety that I ever faced.
How
due
many?
To my stutter.
How many?
Big ol' 0.
0.
And I find that borderline comical, considering they all know that these mental factors substantially contribute to stuttering or worsening as a whole in their clients. So I'll stop that rant on that note. Now, the shift towards positivity, right? How did I find WSSA? After experiencing an emotional low point in my life, which used to happen for me every few months, I would almost hopelessly search for online stuttering solutions. I would read articles, watch videos, until I stumbled upon a YouTube ad for StopStutter, and I watched a video session between Coach Lee and Yassine. It was the first time I saw anyone talking about stuttering as something you could overcome by simply sticking to a regimen, right? So afterwards, I immediately signed up for the program. Coach Danny reached out to me with a consultation call. So shout out to Coach Danny.
Yeah,
he walked me through this miracle program, and it has been sunshine and rainbows ever since, man.
Nice. Now, was that the first time that you had heard about the neuroscience method?
Yes, it was. I had never been taught about affirmations, hypnosis, anything where I could train my brain to help me combat my stutter.
Nice. Nice. Now, let me ask you a question. If you had to pick just one of the punches of the 1, 2, 3 punch, which one would you pick? And you could only pick one.
Mind training, hands down.
What's that?
Mind training. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. No, it's the same here. Same here. I mean, the reading out loud's great. The crutches are great too. But if I had to pick one to save my life, I would pick that one, without a doubt. Thing I want to ask you was, all right, back before you found this program and the neuroscience method, like, what was your life like? You know, just growing up, you know, from like point A to when you were a child to, I don't know, a few months ago.
As far as my bad speech incidents and negativity experience from stuttering, let me take you all the way back to my very first memorable bad speech incident, which actually came on my first day of first grade. So mind you that I had to have been about 5 or 6 years old. So just thinking about that, it's, in hindsight, it's pretty alarming to me how aware I was at the time of how ashamed I felt of my stutter at that young of an age, the anxiety I would face, and just the desire to avoid speaking interactions. So to get into the story, right? It's the first day of class, and all of the students take their seats, and each of our desks have a nice little name tag with our names stamped on it, right? The teacher starts to do roll call, where everybody says that they are present, they share their name and a brief intro. As I awaited my turn to be called on, The anxiety was just building up. I vividly remember just tensing up more and more and more as time passed. And eventually, when the teacher finally called on my name, all I could do was point down to my name tag. I couldn't utter a sound. So I was expecting the teacher to just read my name, and that would suffice. Unfortunately, Steve, I don't have the most common name, being Amauris, and I visually saw my teacher struggling to sound out my name. Amauris, like it was to the point where she was struggling as much as I would have if I were forcing out that name. And eventually I did help her out by forcing out my name, Morris, and after that, she understood why I was acting that way. And that was just the beginning of my negative speech experiences in the classroom. And yeah, it was just a rough experience and just acknowledging the anxiety I felt. And on a side note, regarding this specific experience, I'm so grateful to Coach Lee that in his books and training guides and masterclass series, that he points out a section for parents with children who stutter, to point out ways where parents can help their children who show signs of having a stutter or speech anxiety early on, what they can do to effectively help them. And after I read this section, I immediately reflected on how my poor parents didn't know any of these little ways that they could have helped me along my speech journey, whether if it was they could have told the teacher ahead of time to avoid calling on me until I felt comfortable enough speaking out myself, or just speaking more slowly with me at home and not scolding me for having a block here or there, which, as we all know now, can only exacerbate one's own stutter. So I'm very grateful that I have that knowledge now, so that in the future, if I ever have a child of my own who experiences stuttering, I would know how to help them the way that I needed help at that age. So I'll stop there.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And that's a great point to bring up. The fact that parents want to help their children, like when they see them in pain and they're struggling. And unfortunately, to this day, there's still not a whole lot of help for children in that regard, or even adults, really, because we're still a relatively new program. We really are. Like, we're just a baby, right? And so just imagine this, man. Imagine more people hear about us, right? Imagine someday that possibly in schools around the country or the world, they have our program in the curriculum for children that need that. Like, could you imagine that? Lee, make note of that. Or Danny or Sebastian, whoever. Like, that should be our goal, is that they come to us to help these children find fluency. And that way they can circumvent all the pain that you and I and others who have taken this program have been through. But at the same time, you and I were talking before the podcast, and you were saying that you, I'm trying to think how you put it. You basically said that all the hurdles and pain that you went through built you into the person you are today, right? and that you wouldn't change that. Like, even if I gave you a time machine and you could go back and take away all those bad memories, that you wouldn't, because that's what built character. That's what built the compassionate, smiling Amauris that we see today. Right?
Absolutely, Steve. As the saying goes, strong men create easy times create weak men create hard times. So if I were to go back and remove all of the pain and suffering that I underwent that helped build and shape my character, I would undoubtedly be a much weaker version of myself than I am right now. So I'm grateful for everything I've experienced in life, the lessons, the wins, the shortfalls, and all of that. I'm grateful for all of it, and I'm only focused on the future now. How can I become a better version of myself every day in every way?
Yeah. Yeah, totally, man. Totally. So now I want to rewind just a little bit. Okay, so how has your life changed since you started the program, which I believe was back in August or July or something? Is that correct?
That's when I finally enrolled for one-on-one sessions with you. But I had actually been a part of WSSA since early January of 2025. um, Before joining the program, listening to myself speak and watching myself speak was probably the highest form of torture you could put me through. And now I can genuinely say that I have a beautiful relationship with my crutches and speech plan. I enjoy the calm that I feel and the way that I sound when I use my crutches to the fullest. So that's one way that this program has really reshaped my speech and how I view my speech. And as far as my overall life, this program is literally helping me create the best version of myself in every way. I am now someone who accepts himself and wants to help everyone achieve pure self-love through the teachings of this program. And I'm looking forward to using myself as an example of how to use the crutches in real world scenarios, how to help others train their minds and maximize their fluency. And that's why I bought a bunch of these gadgets that I'm about to share with you. So for example, I bought these Meta AI glasses so that I can record my interactions with others, racking up the speech victories as I record them. And I also have this DJI mini drone with a camera as well to offer a different angle view of those interactions. And I bought these lovely microphones for interview purposes as well, to just record and video all of these future speech wins to help push myself up the fluency ladder and to hopefully offer inspiration for anyone else who views my content that's coming soon.
All right. Mr. Hollywood. Hollywood. Yeah.
Like you,
Very
man.
cool, man. That's right. That's right, man. So I think it'd be fair to say that life is pretty good right now for you, huh?
Always blessed.
Yeah, always blessed. Matter of fact, wouldn't you say that in some weird way that stuttering actually turned out to be a blessing?
All of this program and a goal of life to find ways to turn our pain and suffering in every way that we can to a positive and use that positive to spread love, help others in any way that we can, just like you, man. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps of becoming a coach with how you were able to overcome stutter, achieve fluency, and now you have the privilege and honor to help others achieve those same goals in their lives. And I can only imagine how rewarding that must feel.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It was a huge blessing, and it was very unexpected because I didn't plan on becoming a coach. Like, I just wanted to become fluent and disappear. Matter of fact, I didn't show my face on camera until I gave my success story. Like, I would attend meetings and all that stuff, and even practice groups. I wouldn't even show my face. Like I was just gonna, I was just gonna hit and run, right? Just boom, thank you. But I'm glad that after I gave my SAM talk the first time, Lee called me up and he's like, "Hey, Steve, I think you make a great coach. You should do it." And I was hesitant at first, but then I relented, and probably the second best decision I ever made. So I'd say the first best decision I've ever made was invest in the money in this program, because I was skeptical at first about it, because there's always people trying to make a buck off those in need. And so they come up with the scams, and people get ripped off. And then after they get ripped off, they feel worse than they did before they bought said product or cure or whatever program, right? And I think, like a lot of us, we were a little skeptical at first, but then we quickly realized that it's legit and it's going to help. And it has. It's helped hundreds of people, if not thousands. Like, Lee's lost count at this point. And we continue to grow. And because I believe only 1% of the world's population stutters, so there's not like a huge need for it, but there is, because 1% of 8 billion people is, still a lot of people, right? So the fact that we're a part of something that is changing lives and giving people a second chance, it's beyond rewarding. Like, that word doesn't even do it justice. It's, paying it forward. It's a blessing. So, quick question. What do you think is the biggest myth about stuttering?
Biggest myth, don't get me started, Steve, is that stuttering is incurable. There's nothing we can do about it. We just have to accept it as a part of ourselves. We know that is not the case. The 1, 2, 3 method, the neuroscience method, shows us that stuttering can be viewed as nothing more than just a pesky habit that we've allowed to keep a hold on us for far too long. We've left it unaddressed for far too long. It can be corrected. It can be replaced with a fluency habit if everyone would just focus on reading aloud, using their daily mind training, and using their crutches and speech plans every day. There's no reason why everyone shouldn't be able to achieve fluency.
Well said. And I heard the passion just then. It's like,
he's
getting.
It feels like, with everything that we've learned here, it feels like we're holding on to like the cure for cancer. And I just want to help reach every stutterer to just know about this. There's too many people out there feeling hopeless and like there's no answer. And I just look forward to being able to play a similar role that you play here as a coach with helping others and just spreading the overall message of this wonderful method.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Morris, I think it's only fair that you get to ask me some questions. Put me in the hot seat.
Put him in the hot seat. Let's see how hot I can make your seat. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna let that one go.
All right.
It's all good.
Regroup. Okay.
Focus.
With how fluent you are and with how many people you've already helped achieve fluency, what is next for you as far as your goals with climbing up the fluency ladder and general speech goals?
Sure. So the thing I would like to work on is to get better at networking. Now, even though I'm fluent, I still get a little nervous with the networking part just because of the way I grew up. It still feels a little strange to me. Like I feel like I'm being fake or disingenuous, and to just kind of get over that. Not to say that I'm worried about like having like a bad incident or stuttering or blocking or anything during a networking event or anything like that. It's just, I would like to be more comfortable doing it, just the act of doing it. It's like, I know I can do it. It's just, I would like to take a little bit of that pressure off. Again, not that there's much there. It's just more of a programming thing, right? Because you grow up and you become accustomed to living a certain way and act in a certain way and being a certain way around people. Whereas other people, they can talk to people, but if you put them on a public stage, they would just crumble, right? And I've never really had that problem, given my background. But when people would break off into these little circle groups and everyone's talking 100 miles per hour, no one's listening to each other, those are the situations I found myself having the most trouble being in, aside from speaking to like authority figures and things like that. But like now it's not an issue per se, because I mean, I've done it plenty of times now, but like there's still that, like, I don't know, maybe it's like 5% of fear left, just a tiny bit, just that tiny bit that's going to make all the difference in the world, right? And I just have to put myself out there in that situation. But the great thing now is, dude, I can talk to anyone, where, anytime. It's not an issue. Because I remember like just being scared to go to the grocery store or the bank or a restaurant, having to talk to someone working there. Or if I were to get pulled over by the police, or I had to speak to my boss, or if I had to speak to someone who I felt had like a higher status than me, right? Maybe they had more money, or they're just taller or better looking or whatever, right? Or they're famous or something. It's not an issue anymore. It's really not. And just being able to do simple things like order a meal, or to tell a cop that, no, sir, you're mistaken. I wasn't speeding. I would like to challenge you in court. I will see you on January 5th, right? Whereas before, I would have just blocked or stuttered or avoid the situation altogether. So like that would be just the networking part. And it's really not that big a deal, but it's just getting over that uncomfortable feeling, I guess. Again, I'm not worried about blocking or stuttering or anything like that. That's not the issue. It's just like just reprogramming myself in that regard. And as far as like, there was a second part to that question. What was the second part?
Oh, it was just regarding goals on your general speech goals?
Yeah, yeah. I'd say that's about it, man. I mean, it's night and day. Quite honestly, it's night and day, and just being able to communicate, it's a huge blessing. Huge blessing.
So also on the note of networking, I'm just curious, have you ever tried to network with, say, speech language pathologists, leveraging your stuttering knowledge and, picking their brains and offering your ideas regarding the neuroscience method to help them, or not?
Well, okay. Maybe it's because I'm kind of competitive. It's like, why would I want to give my competition my secret recipe? Right? Let's say I'm Coca-Cola, right? And I have a recipe and I see Pepsi's right next to me. No offense to the Pepsi drinkers. Pepsi's next to me and Pepsi's like, hey man, I heard people like your stuff, man. Like, where's some of your ingredients? I'd be like, why don't you take a walk off that pier? They're over there. So like, I'm the wrong person to ask with that. I understand how people want to help like speech pathologists, but it's like, why are we giving away our method? Like our special sauce, so to say. But that's just me. I know not everyone views it the way I do, but again, I am kind of competitive, so that's just how I feel about that. It's probably not the answer. It's probably not the diplomatic answer that they want me to say, but it's just being truthful because we have a program that works. Their clients should be our clients, basically, is what I'm saying. Because I've experienced it. I've seen other people experience it. I know it works, and I've met people that have done all kinds of therapies, and it hasn't yielded anything. So why don't we put these guys over there, and why don't you guys join our tribe, so to speak? I'm making a declaration, but that's just me. Just me.
Understandable. Steve's army against the world.
Anyways, that's a good question, though. It's a good question.
Next one. What would you say is your proudest accomplishment at WSSA, whether it pertains to your speech or helping a student of yours achieve fluency, or any other sort of contribution you've made to WSSA?
Sure. Yeah. Number one was becoming fluent, like putting in the work, taking a chance, jumping in, doing the 1, 2, 3 punch, all the practice sessions, all the reading out loud, all the learn the crutches, the hypnosis, the mind training, the affirmations, going to every SAM meeting for months on end. And being able to show myself that if I can overcome this thing, I can overcome anything or other things I should work on, because we all have things we can work on. Like, just because we become fluent doesn't mean all of our problems are going to go poof like that. I wish that was the case, but it's not. It's not. And just knowing that I overcame what I consider to be my biggest hurdle, well, these other hurdles are lower. I should be able to easily ascend over them. So basically, the program has given me more confidence in myself. The second part, I'd say just knowing that I help students not only become fluent, but also help them take control of their lives. Like, one example, I had a student that worked in crypto, and he had to give a big presentation in front of like 50 to 100 people, and it was going to be streamed live, right? And he was also hosting the panel. So I had to get him ready for the ball, right? Like Cinderella going to the ball or whatever. And, it's like one of those little rats, like making the dress or whatever. And I prepared with them and I over prepared with them. And by the time it was streamed, he was not only fluent on stage in front of an audience, a virtual audience and an actual audience, but he was the most fluent guy on the panel. There was like 5 other people, and he was the most fluent one. He was up there with people who had never stuttered in their life, and he was the most fluent one. So seeing that, like having a video of that on my phone to this day is huge. Let's see. Another person helping you out was huge, because now we're like friends, and you're about to become a coach yourself, and you've trained in my style. So I can't wait to see what you do. And let's see. Jada is giving a speech on Saturday.
Jada.
She's one of my first students, and we only had a few sessions, but after those sessions, she continued the work on her own. She went to the practice groups. She did everything she was supposed to, and now she's giving a speech on Saturday, which is huge for her, because unlike me, she hates public speaking. So there's her. And then there's another guy, I'm trying to think of his name, Dylan. Dylan, who after our last session, it's like, dude, thank you for helping me become fluent. I can now do things that I couldn't do before. Like I can talk to customers at work. I can go to Taco Bell and order every taco on there. I can talk to my girlfriend. I can tell my boss to go to hell. Simple things like that. Things that others, simple things. Tell your boss to go to hell. So hearing that is great. And then the other guy that I'm working on right now, his name's Asher. He's 14, incredible kid. And he's only been in the program for like a few weeks now, probably less than a month, something like that, maybe a month now. And he's already reaping the rewards of the 1, 2, 3 punch. And he is going to have a life that is so wonderful. And the kid has a good head on his shoulders, and he's going to be able to circumvent like all that BS that you and I went through at his age. And I also said to him, I said, hey, listen, you're about to become fluent, and you play sports, and you are going to be one of the best speakers in your group, if not the best. Therefore, you should become the captain of your teams. Because being a captain doesn't mean you have the most ability. It's the ability to lead people. And if you're a great speaker, you can lead people. People will want to listen. So knowing that I'm helping this young man become a leader on the gridiron is huge. There's more, but I'm going to stop there.
No, and that's all absolutely amazing. What really jumped out to me was regarding your story about your student Austin, who was at the crypto conference, hosting it and speaking more fluently than everyone. And to me, that's just such a testament to the strength of the crutches that this program teaches. It doesn't only help people who stutter fix our broken speech, but it can benefit anyone improve their speech overall. Like for example, I can think of a few of my friends who mumble as they speak, and all I can think about is, man, if they would just use some extreme pronunciation, they would kill it. Yeah, man. So like that's why I really stopped viewing the crutches as just a tool for you to use when you think your speech is lesser than what everyone else is. They can be tools to propel you above the average speaker and turn you into not only the best speaker that you can be for yourself, but sometimes the best speaker in any room. So I find that very beautiful and a testament to the strength of this program. So yeah, I'll stop there and move on to the next question I have for you. You're still in that hot seat, man. It's steaming.
Ow! Ow!
What is something that you learned from a student while coaching them?
Compassion and patience. And what I mean by that is some students or some people in the program, but some students I've had, they did not have the drive that you and I or some of my other students had. And what I mean by that is they wouldn't do all of the punches, of the 1, 2, 3 punches. So they might do 1, but they won't do 2 and 3, or they'll do 3, but not 2 and 1, or they'll do 1 and 3, but leave out 1. And they wouldn't join practice sessions. They wouldn't go to SAM meetings. Some of them wouldn't even use the crutches out in the real world. And I had to learn to not take it personally, and to know that some people who really want this and will put forth the effort will become fluent. It may take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. And then other people will sign up and they will, excuse my language, put in a half-ass effort. And I had to learn to help them as much as I could. And sometimes it's hard not being able to help someone the way that you helped yourself or that you helped others. So that's how I learned compassion. Also, I learned compassion because there's like a spectrum of disfluency, right? So you have people that are light stutters, they're medium stutters, covert stutters, or really extreme stutters. And I've had a couple students that are on the extreme side, and I really learned to be compassionate towards them and also be patient with them, and to be able to guide them through the program at their pace, right? This one gentleman, when I first talked to him on the phone before our first session, like he could barely talk on the phone. But now he's, I don't want to say he's 100% fluent, because no one's 100% fluent. Let's just get that out of the way right now. But he is very fluent right now. He still has like a little bit of work left, but he's pretty much there. All right. And he told me that he's happy with his speech at this point. And I keep saying to him, listen, man, I'm glad you're happy with where you're at right now, but we have just a little bit more work to do to get you to where I know you can be. And are you cool with that? And he's like, hell yeah, I am. Let's keep going, you know? And yeah, that's what it taught me. And I think the other thing that stuttering taught me before I became fluent was to have empathy for people, right? So like growing up, you know, kids can be mean and tease each other and stuff, you know, for people's appearance or how much money their parents make, or, you know, they got a big nose or small nose, whatever, weight, ugly shoes, it doesn't matter, right? I guess because I grew up being disfluent, I never made fun of it. Like, even though I could have, I just never did it because I didn't want someone to feel the pain that I felt, you know, when occasionally I get teased for it. And also, adults can be cruel too. There are just some jerks out there. That's just what it is. Just some jerks out there. And so, like, to this day, I really don't like to insult people at all. Unless they're being very mean and rude to me, then I will. But I don't go around like, you know, dissing people, making fun of them. Oh, look at this person, blah, 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 blah. Ah, look at, like, I just never entered my mind to do that to someone. You know, I guess maybe my self-esteem wasn't as low as I thought it was, right? Like, if I can see the world through that lens and know that just trashing people is
not the way.
It's not the way. Yeah.
All right. Last question to lift you off of that smoldering hot seat. So obviously you've achieved fluency in these recent years. How are you doing on your journey with the fear part of the speech journey?
Yeah. I don't have any fear around speaking to people, like on stage or off stage. But like I still have like, again, like a tiny bit of fear of networking, not because I don't think I can do it or anything like that. It's just I still am an introvert, but the difference is now I'm an introvert that can speak when they want to. Right? So I would like to become a little more extroverted. But again, like I'm nice to people. Like I show people basic amount of respect when I walk these crazy streets of New York and deal with people in the public and all that stuff. But yeah, I would like to be able to be like, hey, I'm that networking guy. Here's my card. Hey, you want to do business? Let's do lunch with a man. All right, call me. like I can do that. I can pretend to be that guy, but like I want to be genuine when I do it, right? Yeah, so maybe 1% of fear left, or 5 at the most.
And I just quickly share this quote I heard recently on dealing with fear from the great George St. Pierre, former UFC champion, that just got me fired up recently with combating against fear. So this quote reads, "There is no shame to admit you are afraid. There is no courage without fear. The way you counter fear, whether you're a fighter, entrepreneur, or anything, is with the preparation. The more you prepare, the more you build up your confidence. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's knowing you have what you need to succeed." Oh, mic drop.
Brilliant. Dude, love GSP, man. Love that guy. Matter of fact, you kind of remind me of GSP a little bit, man.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely, man. No, you got like his aura. And you could fight. By the way, this young man over here can fight. I've seen his videos, and I'm going to one of his live fights soon. And I also want to get into Muay Thai as well. I have a huge amount of respect for it. Flew to Thailand to see it live in its natural element. Real quick, man, let's just ask each other some goofy questions, just to end on a fun note. All right. All right. Okay. If you were a flavor of ice cream, what would you be called, and what would be your main ingredient?
I'm going to have to hit you with a pretty corny response. Call me crutch number 8, since I love speaking with passion, and my main ingredient will be passion fruit.
Passion fruit. All right. Sounds good. Now, if I were an ice cream flavor, I would be I would be mint chocolate Steve. I'd be mint chocolate Steve. And my ingredient would be passion as well, honestly. Like crochet is my favorite crutch too. So that's cool, man. All right. What would you like to ask me, sir?
What can I ask you that's nearly as silly as that?
It's pretty silly.
Yeah, I don't have much silly, but so you're so fluent, man, that I can never really detect any crutch usage out of you. You speak so naturally. So I want to ask, when you were early on in your speech journey, what were your go-to crutches?
Say my go-to crutches were crutch 10, crutch 8, crutch 7, and crutch 4. Now, I did use all the crutches except 5 and 6. I avoid those crutches because those are the ones that I taught myself growing up, 5 and 6. So I didn't use those, but I used all the other crutches. And for crutch 1, I would turn to a game to see if someone was listening to me and if I could trick them into hearing what they thought they heard, even though that's not what they heard because I dropped the first syllable or letter. So yeah, like I would treat the crutches like a game in real life. Like, how many can I get away with? And this person doesn't hear this fluency. So that's the way I looked at it. So I'd say those crutches specifically. Probably if I had to pick one, probably crutch 8.
That's beautiful, man. And on that note, that you mentioned about turning speech into a game, that's probably my favorite takeaway that I got from you while you were my coach. You made every session so fun and interactive, and always found a way to help me view speaking as a fun game. Play with accents, play with your delivery, make everything lighthearted. It doesn't always have to be so serious. Life is happy, plenty to smile about, even on our speech journey while we're trying to improve. There's always, a way to just keep this fun and make it a game. And that's the beauty of interacting in general. So thank you, Coach, for that brilliant lesson.
Can you hear this? I was born in the darkness, molded by it. By the time I was a man, it was blinding.
Sorry, I had to do the Bane voice. I love doing the Bane voice.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Very cool, man. Oh, one last question. It's not really a silly question, but what is the meaning of life, Morris? You seem like a smart guy. You might know.
Oh, man. The only answer I could really give you regarding life is that I believe we are all put here to just be as loving and as giving as we can be. And I have a hunch that's why we're both here in WSSA, man. Our way of showing love and giving back is to, one, show everyone who has a stutter acceptance and guiding them towards speech fluency. You are giving everyone back your knowledge on how to achieve fluency, and I'm just looking to follow in those footsteps to add some more purpose to my life.
It's well said.
Thank you.
Real quick, before I sign off, I've always loved this quote, and the first time I heard this quote was when I read Lee's book for the first time. So it goes something like this. Most of us go through life knowing only half of ourselves. So we use only half of our abilities. We suffer because we are strangers to ourselves. We have free choice to accept or reject thoughts. Nothing compels us to think anything except our own desires. So use your mental switch to dictate your thoughts. Believe that you can improve, and you will. By Frank S. Capra. I always love that quote.
Best words.
And it's a quote that Oh yeah, and Lee says it all the time, and I never get tired of hearing it. So, dude, thank you so much for sharing your story. It was
It's a
awesome.
pleasure.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
and absolutely, absolutely. And folks, if you're listening or watching, and you resonate with this, just know that change is possible. The brain can rewire, identity can shift, and fluency can become your new normal. So, folks, this has been the Stop Stutter podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's story. Stay tuned for more inspiring journeys. And don't forget to check out the StopStutter app to connect with the amazing people you hear on this podcast.
Unlock your voice with StopStutter.